Yeah, path to the peak on both sides of the table here for these players, but Makani is really hoping that path sticks around forever in this match. Also has that Sphere Tomb to try to kind of cancel out those Fusion Strike systems from Maddox, but Maddox is playing the Alessa Sparkle version with Meloetta, Ice Skew. You have those Fusion Strike energies to prevent the abilities, and look at those. Top 32 special event Puerto Rico, top 32 Fresno, top 64 Charlotte regionals. Well, we're going to be adding at least the top 8 here in Portland regionals.
Yep, not a bad list of accomplishments there, and of course getting it done with the Mew VMAX this time around, the Fusion Strike style. Always interesting interactions that we see between these two decks, and the counterplay that we see is going to be something to look out for.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Makani. Get his accomplishments here. Fresno Regional top 32, San Diego Regional top 8, Salt Lake City Regional top 32, and Baltimore Regional top 4. This was all done last year, and Makani has been championing Arceus the whole time.
Yeah, and it's been with the help of his team, of course, the Lost Zone Kitchen getting it done, cooking up a lot of interesting brews. This is certainly one of them. Nobody had Regigigas on the radar. This is a very interesting card to include. It is just a 1/1 line, so we'll see if it comes into play. It is always a spectacle to see a bizarre card joined with Arceus.
Yeah, ham sandwich V-Star.
Sign me up.
Alright, looks like our players are ready to set up. Let's take a look at these prize cards for our game 1 here in top 8. 3 Psychic Energies to go along with a Path to the Peak, Ultra Ball, and B-Barrel. Meanwhile, a couple of supporters, double Battle VIP Pass for Maddox there, and a Mew VMAX.
Yeah, maybe a little easier to work with this for Maddox. Unfortunate for Makani. That's almost half of the basic energies. So accelerating with an Arceus in the early game means you might not have energies for the late.
We'll have to see how things shape up. One of the benefits for the Fusion Strike energy version of Mew VMAX is being able to attack on turn 1 going second, and that's very good against something like an Arceus deck that wants to go first.
Yeah, being able to apply that pressure, something that we're going to have to look out for. It's like Makani starting things off here in the top 8.
Bidoof hitting the bench. Got a couple energy cards in hand, so you at least have that for the Arceus V. Do we see a second Arceus V? That's the real big question. But no, just a pass of the turn, and we could see a very strong start from Maddox here. 3 Genesect V in hand, and the Meloetta with a Forest Seal Stone to go along with it.
Where have you been, Maddox? this is something else. The last 2 cards in the hand are Ultra Ball, perfect for thinning out of situations
Battle
like this.
VIP pass.
One of the 2 Battle VIP Pass left. Might as well thin out that additional card. Get all the Fusion Strikes ready to roll for 6 now. This could certainly be the turn. We're just about an Alessa Sparkle and a Fusion away from big knockouts.
So there was an avenue where Makani could have jet energied the Zacian or the Bidoof in the hand to the active, save the Arceus V, and then roar the sword, the Psychic, to the Arceus V.
Yep. I noticed that, and this is something that Makani was unfazed by in this situation. Maybe a consideration of, well, my opponent might just have to play a card like Escape Rope, so just 1 Pokemon down could be enough to avoid an awkward situation. But it is a risk.
Maddox just failed the Battle VIP Pass. We're going to have an Ultra Ball here, discard Ultra Ball and Path to the Peak. Going to find that Mew V now.
Has anyone openly failed a Battle VIP Pass?
The first one, yeah.
in the top 8 of a regional?
The card's terrible. Who needs it?
All right, you heard it here first.
Kyle said that, not me.
That is untrue. Only 1 Fusion Strike system has been used so far. 2 more available along with the Forest Seal Stone. You have to think that the resources are going to start flying to the top.
Nothing here. You do have a Cram-O-Matic, which Maddox did save the Lost Vacuum just to have an item to potentially discard. Going to be a big heads flip here.
That's such a power play to say, do you want me to flip this coin or roll the die? And then you just get heads with whatever they choose.
So now Maddox is able to search the deck for any card. Gonna eye down that Alessa Sparkle here. Now this is a little bit risky just because you're pulling out a lot of the energies that you kind of want to draw into at least one.
Yeah, but there's a 4 seal stone.
There is. But you also need a power tablet.
Yeah, we'll find that. Calm down.
And it is going to the Genesect V and the Meloetta, and this is a very heads-up play because Makani does play a copy of Spiritomb to try and shut down those Genesects. But if you have a Fusion Strike energy on it, it bypasses that ability.
Yep, always good thinking there, as you need to have access to the draw engine in this deck. Obviously, in this situation, Makani did not have any way to even search through the deck, so no resources were found like that Spiritomb. But thinking ahead there just understands that, yes, this turn could be explosive, but if I don't see everything that I need, I don't care about having an additional Pokemon ready to attack. I need to knock this Arceus out, and if it's not there, maybe I can draw out of it next turn.
All right, Supporter has been played now. We have Lost City with a Lost Vacuum in hand, so we could see more thinning.
Wow, you can throw away Box of Disaster here. Why not?
5 cards, needs a power tablet. Oh, well, there's a choice belt. That'll work just as well. Even having a Cramomatic to dig even further, but you have it with that 4 Seal Stone.
Yeah.
What a turn.
You could hold on to it if you wanted, but it's going to value the Cramomatic hold for later.
And
this is
just like that. Not even hiding the card you get with Star Alchemy.
This was on no one's bingo card for this tournament. Yes, maybe we would see Mew VMAX, but surely not Meloetta turn 1 knockout on Arceus. Is it 2022 or 2024? What's happening?
Who knows at this point? We have B-Barrel Evolution for Makani, then an Iono. Gonna force Maddox to 4 cards, thanks to that knockout last turn. And there is no Arceus, but we do have a Regigigas V hitting the bench.
Yep, looks like Squavit as well, hanging out there.
Portland Regional All-Star.
It's only fitting that we would see this Pokemon once more here.
Path to the Peak, pretty good draw here. Then you have that Industrious Incisors draw up to 5.
Oh, no.
Those cards don't help at all.
No Arceus there, just the V-Star. So it's going to be manual attached to the Regigigas V.
You kind of have to wonder if Makani thought that Maddox was playing the control version of Mew, not really worried about that turn 1 Melodious Echo, but it came out of the gates swinging, and Maddox is certainly happy. That's how this game has turned out.
Well, if that's the case, then Makani needs to go talk to his friends. Because there's no way you haven't heard about Maddox and this wild run that they're on. And obviously, this is quite a huge threat that we see already. And it's not over yet. Surely, Path to the Peak is in play, but we're not too far away from even more knockouts here. You could knock out the B-Barrel easily, but if you target the Regigigas V for a knockout, that's game over.
Now, the hand is a little awkward for Maddox, but you still have just the knockout with the Meloetta. Now going down to 3 prize cards. Makani did draw Nest Ball for the turn. A little too late here, and is eyeing down the Mew EX. Who needs Arceus anymore?
Well, there's almost not enough energies for an Arceus at this point. We've seen so many Psychics go away already. 1 on the board, few in the prize cards.
All right, Lost Vacuum the Path. It's actually Makani's. There's a Nest Dash, draw 1 card, finds the Arceus V, restart to draw 3. No energy here. Does have that Zacian. Another Nest Ball. He's going to opt for that Bidoof instead.
Well, if this was not 75 minutes, I believe Makani would be making a different decision here. There's not much going on this side of the field.
And it looks like the choice is not Bidoof. It is going to be that Zacian V from hand. Roar the Sword, the Psychic to the Arceus V. And I feel like this is what Makani should have done that turn 1. And oh no, Maddox just draws the boss's orders. Power Tablet has the knockout again. And I think this is where Makani's like, I'm going to go first game 2.
Yeah, the turn's not even done yet. Path to the Peak was removed from play, so there's even more draws. So not only can Maddox take this big knockout here, but can also thin down the hand, thin out the deck, maybe find those final resources to take the last knockout, likely next turn.
Ultra Ball is just going to thin the hand down yet again, discarding a couple Pokemon. That Ice Cube is one of those tech choices in Fusion Strike decks where it's hit or miss. In theory, it's pretty good, but that's usually just theory.
When it's good, it's great. And when it isn't, it is Ultra Ball fodder.
And there's that Melodious Echo yet again. One prize card left for Maddox here, and we haven't even hit 10 minutes yet.
What do you do here, Jeremy?
We're looking for a double turbo energy to try to attack with Regigigas V, because that is the only way. Counter catcher.
Do you even want to use that? Because Meloetta will knock out basically anything. It almost has to be the target this turn, even though it doesn't feel great.
Makani's going to take a quick look through all the resources that Maddox has left available to him, and spoiler alert, it's a lot.
Yeah, you can count out the power tablets. There's only one there in the discard pile. There are a few in the hand to go along with it, and it is the stall strat.
No energy at all off this restart. Does find the Regigigas V-Star. Can use the Star Guardian here, but I don't know if you're really going to be able to do anything else.
I mean, that'd be our first Star Guardian, right?
I think so.
Yep, I think that's going to be all she wrote. Maddox finds the lines, takes a quick game 1 here in the top 8 of Portland. Oh, boy. This match could be something.
10 minutes is all it took for Meloetta to run through Makani's board, knocking out a couple of Arceus V, a B-Barrel, finishing off with a Mew V Max knockout.
Yeah. Knocking out everything left and right. And I mean, this matchup is scary. When you draw like this, Maddox did not skip a beat. The entire hand played out, basically, and it led to this. Turn 1 knockout going second. See even more with a lot of draws available after the Path to the Peak, but just continuous knockouts, and Makani was just unable to get a setup. You mentioned earlier with that opening setup, there was an opportunity to play out multiple Pokemon, maybe protect that Arceus, but still get that Psychic on board. I don't even know if it would have helped at this point. This was tough. Makani could not find anything. So we'll see the retreat.
I wanted to see the Star Guardian.
I know. Maybe next time. We got 2 more chances, maybe.
That is true.
If you don't waste it with Starbirth. Boo.
Boo. Who likes Starbirth? Me. I like Starbirth.
Everyone. Yeah.
Makani's hand is a little bit better here. Still has that Arceus V, but has a double turbo energy to go along with it. Bidoof yet again. And Radiant Alakazam. It'll be interesting to see what Makani chose to start with. It looks like it was that Radiant Alakazam, because we see that Arceus V in hand still. Does not want a repeat of game 1.
Yes. Stay away from me. I need this Pokemon.
The one benefit about playing against a deck like the Fusion Strike version of Mew VMAX is if they're going for that turn 1 Alessa Sparkle, they don't have access to something like a boss's orders to bring up the Arceus V.
Unless they're a D-Gen playing the Pokemon catchers, which I have run into before, but we will not see here in the top 8, thankfully.
2 mulligans. Maddox is trying to help Makani out a little bit here. A little extra cards, maybe finding a second Arceus V.
That's exactly what Makani needs in a situation like this. Just a little extra buff, not running into awkward situations. I suppose just the fact that you have any additional Pokemon means that the escape rope combo will go by the wayside. So any additional Pokemon, even if it's in hand, will be just fine.
It'll be interesting to see if Maddox can have the same kind of explosive start that he had game 1. As Mew Genesect battle VIP pass. All right.
He can't miss. One fusion, though.
One fusion.
We can work with that.
4 Seal Stone in the prize cards. And a double Turbo Energy. Taking a look through. There is 2 escape ropes, so the one in the prize cards. Not too bad, but there is that Spiritomb. Turn 1 Nest Ball.
Yeah, you can pretend to read that all you want. You know that's not a friendly card to see when you're playing Mew VMAX. Obviously, with the fusion package, it's a little helpful. You can avoid running into some awkwardness, but yeah, it's scary.
Spiritomb can't hurt me because I can't read.
It's not even that many words, Jeremy. Come on.
That is true.
Do better.
Fettered in Misfortune. It's a good ability name.
Have you ever faded out?
Yes.
Me too.
But
have you ever done it to lose a game?
Yes.
Yes. That's the best way to do it.
Like the first turn of attacking.
Yep.
I'm like, my hand's terrible. Fade out. Let's go to the next game. Double Turbo Energy on the Arceus V on the bench, and this is a much better turn 1 for Makani. Trying to avoid that turn 1 knockout from Maddox and that Melodious Echo, but Battle VIP Pass is going to be a great way to start things off. It'll be interesting to see if Maddox does have the Lesser Sparkle in hand to activate those Fusion Strike systems that this deck desperately needs.
Yeah, there's even a fringe scenario where this Ice Cube could just snipe and knock out the Spiritomb if you have the resources available. And that would be excellent to remove that threat, and then you don't have to worry about where any of those Fusion Strike energies are going to be. The issue is, yeah, you're going to get knocked out by that Arceus V-Star probably next turn. And then what do you do?
Rinse and repeat?
You don't have any more fusion energies. You're probably in trouble.
Taking a quick look at all the supporters now that are left in the deck. A deck like this, Mew VMAX, only plays a few copies of those supporters. 2 Lesser Sparkle, 2 Boss's Orders, and a Professor Turo's Scenario. Definitely an interesting tech choice for a deck like this. We've seen Penny and Mew lists beforehand.
Yeah, it lines up fairly well. Just picking up a Pokemon that simply can be the difference so often. The protecting hit points, maybe trying to reuse abilities, whatever it may be. Resetting your Mew VMAX can also just be important. So having that option, and of course having Palpad to pick that specific supporter that you'll need once more, can be so helpful with this deck.
There's also a Judge and an Iono.
All right, this looks weird. It's just a lot of Mew right now. We know the hand.
The Genesect's in the hand.
Yeah. Makani's just like, wow, this Spiritomb really worked, huh?
This hand's a little interesting, though. I don't think Maddox has much of anything here.
Oh, you mean bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. That was it. That was the turn. Spiritomb MVP.
Now, there is a Box of Disaster on the active Mew V, which if Makani has the combination to get Arceus V-Star, get that Trinity Nova, take the knockout, is going to be dealt some damage, but no.
Wow.
Pass of the turn.
Wow.
Fusion Strike energy off the top. This is going to allow Maddox to be able to at least use 1 Fusion Strike system this turn, but it's the energy attachment, so no attack yet again.
Yeah. Is also uncomfortable playing down the Choice Belt. That's an additional resource you could find. I don't know if this is a turn where I want to slow down. I want to speed up. My opponent just passed the turn.
How can you speed up? You can't even attack.
I just want to find more cards and win.
I guess there is the avenue of for a Seal Stone, use that Star Alchemy for a Lesser Sparkle, and charge up that Ice Cube along with the other Genesect V. That way you have access to another Fusion Strike system.
Yeah, sounds like a good play here. We do know that one of those Fusion Strike energies is prized, but the other two should be available. Maddox identifies the line, and we'll have access to some more resources. That second Fusion Strike system will be unlocked.
Looks like Mew is going to be the beneficiary of the other Fusion Strike energy here.
Do you know how tempted I am to just throw it on the other Genesect and start attacking?
I mean, usually you Technoblast with a Power Tablet for a KO on an Arceus V. Might as well try it with the actual Genesect instead of the Mew VMAX.
This looks fun. I want to get in on the action. Everyone keeps copying my cool attack. It's my turn.
Well, not right now.
Oh.
Maddox now has the other Fusion Strike system available, but it's going to be just for one. Finds Mew VMAX, which could be good, but I don't know about benching it or evolving it right now in that active.
Are we going to mix? Yeah, let's mix it up. There's plenty of time. Oh, no. Makani finds the Ryan.
Yeah.
There's no knockouts.
There's
There's no energies in the discard. There's nothing.
This is an awkward hand from Makani. Has had access to that Zacian V in hand, but thanks to that Spiritomb, its Roar of the Sword ability is shut off. Boss's orders on the Genesect and just pass of the turn. This is not what you want to see if you're an Arceus V-Star fan. Mainly me.
Wow. Bias much. Ultra Ball, the top deck here. So thinning out may have become a little more easy.
Doesn't want to discard those Power Tablets. Chooses the Nest Ball in the Lost Vacuum. That's not too bad to lose here, especially in the scenario that you're in.
You have to think that eventually, some way, somehow, this Arceus is going to be knocked out. There's not much left that Maddox hasn't seen from his deck so far. If you find the boss's orders, you already have the damage amplifiers. Should just be a quick knockout there. And then where does Makani go? Home?
Maybe. Choice Belt on that Mew VMAX on the bench, Mew VMAX on the Mew V. We are looking for a way out of the active spot.
Ooh, Crammomatic.
Big heads.
Wow.
This has been all Maddox this entire top 8 so far. I think it's fine to get that escape rope. Yeah, you're fine knocking out any of those bench Pokemon.
Yeah, it works out here if you don't have a way to move the Genesect. But of course, just need to start applying some pressure, knock out any of these Pokemon.
All right, so I have some updates on the other games. Bodie Robinson wins 2-0 over Nick Moffitt.
It's been 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What? Okay, Bodie, we see you.
Ian Robb is up 1 game against Sam Huff, and John Ang up 1 game over Azul Garcia Griego.
Okay.
Escape Rope was the card of choice off the Crammomatic here. Makani makes the decision. Spiritomb's not really doing anything else with those Fusion Strike energies on those Genesects.
Yep. You tried.
Genesect drawing 2, Switch Cart, and Ultra Ball found.
Maddox playing an interesting game, trying to decide how many resources can I reasonably hold on to, while also understanding that thinning to that boss's orders could be game-winning next turn.
Well, all of the drawing has been accomplished. Just retreats. We're going to have a Cross Fusion Strike. Now we can see just copying the Ice Cube, placing some damage on Arceus.
Cross Fusion Strike, Ice Missile.
And just taking out the active.
That's a flex.
Yeah.
That's when you start picking Ice Cube's attacks when you could just max Miracle. We like that. Wow. I mean, there is nothing to say right now for what Makani is dealing with. There's no energies to get back into play with Raihan, which means this card cannot be activated. There is a Lost Vacuum but can you play enough cards to restart?
Well, we're down to 3 now. You can counter catcher.
Okay.
You can bench the Zacian as well. We're going to see a restart for 2 here. Oh, no.
Can we just restart the series?
Charon's Care, yet again, not being too careful. Finding its way in the hand. But we do see Roar the Sword. Energy on the Arceus V to prevent potential boss's orders from Maddox this next turn.
Yeah, that is the bare minimum that you needed to see there, was just find an additional Pokemon, get that energy down. But ultimately, Maddox boss's orders on the Arceus V with the double turbo would be a huge knockout, still would avoid activating a potential Raihan. There's so much that could go right here for Maddox's turn.
Ultra Ball is going to kick things off for Maddox. Discards what looks like Iono and that Battle VIP pass. Don't really need any Pokemon here. Just trying to thin the hand down so you can draw some extra cards with Fusion Strike system.
Switch cards.
Already has the switch card. If y'all are wanting to play Mew VMAX,
Yeah.
this is a pretty good clinic for it. Palpad's going to shuffle back that Iono that was just discarded. And we're going to see some Fusion Strike systems to draw some nice cards.
Even though you'd never really want to play that Iono, just being able to thin out, play that Palpad still is beneficial. You thin your hand down so you can continue to draw up with Fusion Strike system. Maybe find that boss's orders. Things get a little hairy. Taking those knockouts when they're 2 prizes close out this game a lot quicker.
All right, Fusion Strike system for 4 cards. Do we see boss's orders? No, but there is a Cramomatic along with a Lost Vacuum you can discard.
Yeah, these just read get whatever card you want because they haven't missed. Okay,
All right,
good.
Kyle.
You know what? Maddox deserved a little bit of that.
A lot of power tablets in the hand. I think it's all 3 left over with that 1 already in play. Little unfortunate there, but still in a very good position.
Bidoof goes down. 2 prize cards taken now for Maddox, and you start to eye up how the prize cards could fall.
How about a B-Barrel off
Are
the
you
top?
kidding me? That's so mean.
All right, what about Roar of the Sword to the Bidoof?
There's 3 unplayable cards in hand. He can't even restart.
So last turn, if you Roar the Sword to the Bidoof, it puts
To bait the knockout?
it puts the basic energy in the discard so you can Raihan.
Yeah. I do
Because
not
you don't need the
dislike it.
extra energy. I feel like even with just all this bad luck, Makani has had avenues to a play to kind of keep in this game, but just unfortunately has not been able to do them.
I'll attach.
Still no boss's orders from Maddox here.
Both players don't like their hands right now. I think Maddox is not allowed to complain, though.
I think we might see a judge.
I don't know about that.
Maddox is really debating it, but no, we're just going to have a block face and deal 100 or just 100 damage to that Mew EX.
Yeah, and I mean, you can 2-shot this Pokemon. There's
Arceus V-Star off the top.
That's the one. Is it 8 turns too late?
Probably.
Oh.
Not a turn too late, Makani says. Here's the Star Birth, going to search for 2 cards. Is there an avenue to victory for Makani and his Arceus V-Star?
This looks like a line that could benefit Jet Energy to promote the Arceus V-Star into the active. Iono potentially drawing into resources like Pat to the Peak. Maybe your opponent just does not find a way to counter that stadium. And they get stranded, just attacking for chip damage into the Arceus. And that's when we've seen cards like that Charon's Care be so beneficial.
You know what Chanscare can't do, though?
Get out of the loss zone.
Pick up the Mew EX. I think this Ice Cube is going to go the distance, honestly. Another Arceus V-Star found for Makani. The hand isn't doing too much, though. Bidu found off a Nest Ball. And then we're going to see Trinity Nova for the first time charge up some energies on the Arceus V-Star and the Zacian V on the bench.
Yeah, it's a pretty good attack. I think Makani should try to do that more often.
210 damage on that Mew VMAX. Here we see the Future Strike systems starting to get going. There's no Path to the Peak in play. Another Cramomatic here.
I won't say anything. Okay.
All right, it worked. Another heads off Cramomatic.
That is a
for Maddox.
broken combo right there.
Yeah. Well, basically it works 50% of the time, right? So if you have two of them.
Yeah, that's 100.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how math works. I did not see the card that Maddox grabbed off here, but it might be something like a boss's orders. Maybe power tablets. Any way to try to take a knockout on a two-prize Pokemon this turn. You already have the knockout lined up with the Ice Cube. Look, it was that double turbo energy.
Yeah, if there was access to boss's orders, power tablet, promote that Mew, and then Psychic Leap, remove all of this damage, take a big knockout on that Mew EX, and leave nothing for your opponent, I feel like that would be a massive play here.
Does not look like Maddox drew into the cards needed for that, but does have Path, and at least can retreat and still use that Ice Cube to take the knockout on the Mew EX.
Yep, this strategy means you get to hold on to the resources like the power tablets if you're going for the big knockout, but honestly, it's lined up there with the Zacian V. Won't take much more work to take those final prize cards. And Makani's going to leave it up to the judge.
Both players are going to shuffle their hand in, draw 4 cards. Makani did evolve into that B-Barrel this turn, so has Industrious Incisors. But it is not looking good. And Zacian V is probably the easiest Pokemon to knock out on Maddox's side of things.
Yeah, and for Makani, what else can you do? Take a look at the resources, see what you're up against. There is always potential to find Path to the Peak, lock your opponent out of situations where maybe they just can't draw anything for multiple turns. Maddox only wanted 3 cards. It's not how that works.
Thought it was an Iono, but had 2
It
prizes.
wouldn't even have worked for Iono.
Ultra Ball is going to find Squavit. And we're going to see a potential Nest Stash and Industrious Incisors to find something like that Path to the Peak.
Yeah, we need a little more Portland magic, as I think that the writing's on the wall if you don't have that path locked in. Also, don't believe we've seen B-Roll yet, so I can draw up with that Pokemon too.
Interesting, going with the Industrious Incisors first. Keeping Charon's Care in hand, and the last card was Path to the Peak.
Needed that.
There's a little bit of hope here. And there's that Trinity Nova. 210 damage.
Oh,
Boss's
man.
orders. This seals it up. Power Tablet and Maddox Corcoran moving on to top 4. Take it down, Makani Tran.
Whew. I mean, we were looking for that combo for a minute.
Yeah.
And of course, it just takes a judge to place it right in the hands for Maddox. It worked out perfectly there. And I don't know if that's how I drew that matchup up, but I do remember a lot of nightmares of early stages of Fusion Mew up against Arceus. It is scary.
Yeah.
Those Pokemon can fall so quickly. Of course, the hit points on the Arceus, 220. It's not that difficult to find. And
Well, this is that big turn 1 where Makani just attached energy pass, had the Jet energy in combination with the Zacian V to try to get just that Arceus V on the bench, but Maddox answers back with that turn 1 Melodious Echo, taking the knockout and just put Makani so far behind, not able to find much of anything, and really was just playing the turns out.
that's all you really can do in a situation like this. You have plenty of time if your deck wants to cooperate. It did not. There was so much work that Makani was trying to do, and just had no opportunities. You mentioned a few good points where there were situations where maybe the sub 1% could have moved to 3% or whatever it may be, but I also understand the tilt that comes with drawing like that.
Yep, and Game 2 was all about that block slider and Ice Cube, putting in a ton of work. There you go, just tapping the cards, taking the knockout, and able to do some pretty good bench damage, taking out that Mew EX as well. Just again and again, block slider, block slider. I'm sure Makani's gonna have a not favorite Pokemon after this.
He's not going to the freezer for a week. No Dino Nuggies for you.
Oh, no. And it just like that, Mew VMAX going into top 4 here. And that's something that, sometimes we never really predict it, but...
Okay, if Skarsig picked that one, I would have just lost my mind. That would be unreal if I just saw Meloetta on there.
No, Ice Cube.
I mean, that too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Congratulations to Makani again for making top 8, but the run ends here. Still a few $1,000